Hey there, everybody. Brian King here, your coach. This is the second video that I'm doing in the Resilience Warriors group. And look, I even created a new logo to commemorate the event. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of these for you. And this one is going to be extra special because it was the first question that was asked in the group. What I'm going to talk about is developing the mindset to push through during trying times. Now, I know this is not a unique situation. I don't believe there's one of you that says, I've never had that before. Life's been a breeze. There's always stuff that comes up. And usually it comes up at the worst possible moment because life has its own way of doing things and it doesn't care about your to-do list or your schedule. So our group member, Robert Garcia, if you don't know him, please get to know him. He's brilliant, generous, and a gifted businessman. I've learned so much from him. And this is what Robert asked. How does someone create the mindset to push forward in hard times? Then he goes on to ask, what techniques should be used to mitigate stress? Well, I can't tell you everything that I know, but I can tell you a lot of things to get you started. The first thing you need to do is do a checkup from the neck up. I don't remember who said that quote, but I always remembered it. So do a checkup from the neck up. What does that mean? It means tune in to how you're doing in three key areas: your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, and your relationship with the world. Okay? Those are very, very critical. So you're looking at the quality of your resources. Do you have people that support you? Do you have places that energize you? And does your thinking empower you? So let's start with the people who support you. These are terms that I use. Who are your starters and sneezers? The starters are the people that you can always go to them. They're the ones that say, call me at 2 a.m. and they mean it. They'll wake up, they'll stop whatever they're doing. When you need some heavy lifting done, either physically or emotionally, they're the ones to volunteer. They've always got your back. They've always got your best interest in mind. How many of those folks do you have? There was a time in my life where I was so eager to help, so eager to people please, that I had surrounded myself with people that needed help, people that were needy, that were always reaching out to me to solve their problems. This was like back in my 20s and my early 30s. And I realized, unfortunately, that when I went to go reach out to them, they were not prepared to satisfy that role for me. I had not established any kind of rules of reciprocity in our relationships. It was a one-way street. It was working in their favor and not in mine. So when I went to go reach out for that support, then I needed it and didn't have it, I suffered deeply because I didn't have that support. That was a wake-up call about the imbalance in my relationships, okay? Now, who are the sneezers? This is actually a marketing term. It refers to the idea of making something go viral. When somebody sneezes and they spread the virus, it goes from one person to another. So your sneezers are your cheerleaders, okay? They're the ones that are going to stand up and say, you rock, Bri, you're awesome. You got this. I know. Hey, isn't Bri awesome there? Hey, come on. Yeah, everybody. Bri's awesome. The cheerleader is going to rally everybody around you to cheer you on. These people are important because it energizes you. It sends some very good vibes your way. And the starters are the ones that actually step in and say, all right, let's do this. Let's lift this together. We got 4 shoulders now, 6 shoulders. We got this, okay? So make sure you have plenty of them. Now let's talk about the environment around you, the places that energize. We know darn well we do not live in a vacuum. We live in a context. We live in a partnership, a family, a neighborhood, a community, however big you want to go. And if that context doesn't support us, it's going to resist us, or it's going to be neutral, and it's just not going to give us the oxygen we need. So go where you feel alive. What gets you motivated? What has the energy? Is it the gym? Is it a nature path? Is it church? Is it a library where you're surrounded by ideas? Is it the beach? Or maybe it's just some cozy, happy place that you've created in your mind. Anywhere where you can feel the abundance that's surrounding you. Abundance versus scarcity. Scarcity meaning, oh my God, I'm alone. I don't have anybody. Nobody understands. That is the lousiest thing you can do to yourself. But when you immediately say, where are my starters? Where are my sneezers? Where do I feel alive? Let me get myself in that context where I feel stronger. Okay? Now, let's talk about the empowering thinking. I say this for last because it's the most important. The first thing you need to do is be your own coach. Many people, and I know people like this in my own family, people that I work with, and I was like this at some point, that I look for permission to feel valued. You know, hey, did you think I was smart when I gave that answer? Or, hey, look at this video. Did you like it? Did I do a good job? And you're not proud of yourself unless somebody comes along and says, yeah, man, it was great. Oh, thanks. I thought it was. I'm so grateful. You don't need that. It's got to come from within. And one of the ways you do that is by being your own coach. And this is what it sounds like. Hey, Bri, I know this looks tough. I know that you're afraid you're going to fall, that it's going to hurt. But you know what? You've done stuff like this before. And what did you do? You got up, didn't you? You kept going forward, didn't you? And you called those people, you know, those ones that are always there for you. Have they let you down before? No, man. Call them and see if they're going to be there for you again. If they're not, you move on to somebody else. Because we got this, man. You can do this. I got your back. You're using that inner voice to coach yourself. Because a lot of the noise we have going on in our heads, usually the critical stuff, is somebody else's voice anyway. It's from our mother. It's from our grandmother. It's from that nasty teacher. Well, why not give a voice to an empowering person? Call them anything you want. You can say, empowering me, quote words from the Bible. It can be the Buddha talking about letting it go. It can be that teacher saying, you've got a gift that you need to nurture and don't you let anybody talk you out of it. But give yourself that pep talk, a truthful one. You're not blowing sunshine, but you're reminding yourself that you've got the chops to rise above and keep going. And you can start that conversation anytime you want. When you're doing good, you don't even have to have stress. You can have that conversation going. Make sense? When you think stress, think stretch instead. So instead of saying, man, this is stressing me out, say, this is stretching me out. You see the difference? When something is stretching you out, because you know, stress is pressure. It's putting a demand upon you, right? So stretching is also putting a demand upon you. You stretch before you exercise, you stretch before you run, you stretch before, during, and after yoga. Stretching prepares you for growth. So when you say, this is stretching me out, then you're immediately thinking that there's an opportunity to grow here, as opposed to, this is stressing me out. Stress means overwhelm, means it's beyond my capacity. Because when something is stretching you out and challenging you to grow, then you can immediately ask yourself, okay, here's a growth opportunity. What resources do I need to step up and meet this opportunity? What are the people that I have around me that I need? Maybe I need some new people. Maybe I don't have an expert on this. And I can go find one through where? My existing community. Ask them, hey, do you know anybody who's good at this or anybody that's gone through this before? Just this morning, in one of the groups that I belong to, somebody tagged me in their comment because the gentleman that posted the video was having a struggle that my friend knew I had gone through and had solutions for. So he said, hey, Bri, can you watch this video and chime in? This guy could really use your advice. And I gave it. Just like that. It's as simple as pie to reach out and grow your network. Do you have the places you need? Are you sitting in a house where people are fighting and screaming and being negative, and you really need to go out and go for a walk, go on your favorite nature trail, go to the library, get lost in a book, go to the church and pray? You often have to change your environment so that the stress goes down and the empowerment goes up. What kind of things do you need? Well, I know a lot of times when I'm feeling a little stressed or stretched, I can listen to my music and it'll bring me down out of the rafters, make me feel more centered, more energized. So that's one of my go-to things that I always have access to. I can go to YouTube and watch some funny videos, help change my emotional state. Now in the digital age, we have access to all of these. I can text a friend. I can go watch a nature video about animals in the forest or the beach, the ocean coming up. I can find this anywhere. So if I can't be there physically, I can watch it, I can hear it, I can imagine what it would smell like, I can use the power of my imagination, put myself there and feel my blood pressure lower, my energy rise, and the tension leave my shoulders. These things are so accessible, okay? So accessible. And the things. Is there an app for that? You know, they have meditation apps, nature sound apps, and again, music. Ideally, you're there experiencing it because the energy is different. But in the absence of being able to travel, you have the next best thing. You have a representation of those things that empower you. So these are my ideas. You know, these are my responses to Robert's questions of how do you create the mindset to push forward in hard times and what techniques should be used to mitigate stress. I hope these have been helpful for you. Please give me your feedback, because the more I know about what you want, the better I can serve you. So don't forget, do a checkup from the neck up. Find the people who support you, places that energize you, and think the things that are empowering you. Thank you so much for watching. It's really a pleasure having you inside the community, and I'm looking forward to serving you more. This has been Brian, your coach. We'll talk again soon.